Hello everyone, my name is Michael from Polygon Island, and things have changed. I'll get into that in a second, but today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this pretty cool beach scene in Blender. So now let me talk about something for a few seconds. There's a timestamp right here. Yeah, right here. If you want to skip to the tutorial. But yeah, just a little update. Me and my family went on vacation to Gulf Shores, Alabama. It was pretty cool. If you don't know what that is, it's a beach. Um, and it was pretty cool. It was the first time I've ever been to a beach. I've never been to a beach before, so I didn't really know what to expect. It was very sandy, very watery, pretty cool to be honest. But yeah, my hair is a different color, and so let's let's get back in. Let's get into Blender. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera, my face cam off for you guys right here. But the first thing is we're gonna need some stuff. So what stuff will we need? Well, basically, what we're going to need first and foremost is reference images. So reference images of a beach, any kind of beach really. For this, I'm kind of going off of Quixel's Nordic beach kind of vibe, kind of render. Kind of having a mix between a just a regular beach and something kind of cool and ambient. So just looking at beaches, even if you know what a beach looks like, even if you think you know what a beach looks like off the top of your head, what we're going to do is we're just going to look through these. You're going to miss details. You're going to pick up details depending on what reference images you choose. Now, I've looked through these about 5 times already. So the next thing, some of these things are going to be optional. I'll tell you which are going to be optional, which aren't. So the first thing is, this is optional, is Quixel or Quixel Bridge, Quixel Megascans, anything Quixel that you have. Because that's, for me personally, that is the kind of vibe I'm trying to go off of, is using Quixel's Nordic Beach collection as sort of a base to go off of. But this is completely possible without any kind of Quixel, any kind of paid-based services. And I'll show you how to do that also. So for this render, I'm going to be using Quixel Bridge. Like I said, Megascans is a subscription-based service. I do have a video on how to get around that, but it's only for Unreal Engine and Twinmotion. Wink, wink. But yeah, if you really want to, you can do that method. But there's tons of free alternatives, which I'll get into. And the second thing is we're going to search up Water Shader Blend Swap. And Water Shader, when you search up Water Shader Blend Swap, the first thing that'll come up is Procedural Water Shader. So we're going to go ahead and click this. You're going to have to log in. If you're not logged in, or if you don't have an account, just create an account. It's completely free. It's pretty fast. And then you'll be able to download this. This water shader, it's pretty cool. I don't like making water shaders. Excuse me. I don't like making water shaders. I don't know how to make a good-looking water shader. So if I tried to make a water shader, it would be garbage. So call me less of an artist if you want for not making the water, but this is more of a composition-based thing. So anyway, so you're going to want to download this. And once you have it downloaded, just save it somewhere where you'll remember. I think that's all there is. Now the free alternatives for websites. For textures, you can go to cc0textures.com. CC0 Textures, they've changed their name. Okay, ambient CG. It used to be called CC0 Textures. I haven't touched this website in like a week, and now it has a new name. So the name is now Ambient CG, but basically Ambient CG has all kinds of free public domain PBR textures. You can go in here and do whatever you want. For example, we want sand because we're going to be doing a beach. So if we just look up sand, there's tons of different sand materials. There's rocky sand, there's clear sand, there's mossy, grassy sand, puke sand. But yeah, this is that. And as for models, models pretty much go anywhere. There's tons of places to get free models. One of my favorites are like free3d.com, TurboSquid, CG Trader. TurboSquid, CG Trader do have paid models, but you can get free models off of there too. But yeah, those are this is for textures. You can literally look up rock 3D models on Google, and I'm sure you'll find about 1,000 of them on there. But once we have that, we can finally get into Blender. So with Blender, the version I'm using the 3.0 alpha, the Cycles X version, just so we have those fast renders. And so what we're going to start off with in Blender is we're going to have our cube. We're going to go ahead and delete the default cube, just like always. We're going to hit Shift A, add a mesh, and then add a plane. We're going to hit S and then 6 on our plane, S on the keyboard and then 6 on the keyboard, just to scale it up 6 times. And then we're going to hit Control A on our keyboard and then just click All Transforms. This resets the plane to be 1 on every scale instead of like 6 on every scale. You can mess with UVs and stuff. It's just better to apply any transformation any permanent transformation that you make to an object. So what we're going to do now that we have this is we're going to hit Tab, and we're going to right-click, and then we're going to click Subdivide. Now, don't click off this yet. Go down here to the bottom left corner where it has a little tab. Click it, and then change the number of cuts to something like 75. This will give us enough geometry to kind of sculpt out the beach and what we want it to do. So looking at reference images of sandy beaches, so if we just look at some reference images of some beaches, we can kind of see how the water and everything reacts. So if you notice on beaches, we kind of have, my internet's being extremely slow right now, don't worry about it, but we have the way the waves come up. They don't just come up to a sharp incline and stop like something like a river. We can see that the waves come up like this. So I'm not going to sit here and do an entire fluid simulation to recreate these waves. I'm going to do it the cheapest way possible and blend the ground in with the water as much as I can, and hope we don't see that part of the water. If you know of a way to do this very easily without a whole fluid simulation, then go ahead and do that, but that's not for this tutorial. So what we're going to do to start out is we're going to go over here to the Sculpting tab up at the top. And then once we go into the Sculpting tab, we'll automatically be on the Draw brush. You can click F to size it up and then Shift F to adjust the strength. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. And I'm basically just going to start kind of on one side, sculpting up a little bit. Just so we have a little raised area, just so it's not completely flat. Because even if the sand is mostly flat, it's never actually, you're not going to walk outside, especially on a beach, and it just be completely flat under you. So, now we have this, maybe add some upper parts through here. And then we can hit Shift S and then just kind of tap click and just smooth this out a little bit. Just so we don't have any harsh upcomings or anything. Excuse me. And now that once we have that, I don't know why I exited sculpting mode. We're going to hit X to go back into the draw tool, and then we're going to hold Control and then click to kind of sculpt this down a little bit. I don't want it to be too steep of a decline. We can always fix it up later if it is. But I'm going to go ahead and just kind of sculpt this down a little bit. And down here doesn't really matter. We can just give it a massive fall off. I'm going to hit Shift S and just kind of smooth all this out. Excuse me, my voice is really dry right now. But yeah, that seems pretty cool. That seems pretty good for our beach shape. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually get the water itself. Now what you could do is you could just add a plane with the water shader on it. But that is the most boring thing I've ever heard of. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another plane, Shift A, Mesh, and then Plane. Bring it up a little bit by hitting G. I'm going to do S7, just so it's a little bit bigger than our original plane. I'm going to hit Tab, right-click, Subdivide, and then I'm going to give this one 100 cuts. So now that we have that, we can go to our Modifiers tab, which is over on the right side. It's this little wrench. Click it, add modifier, and then wherever ocean is, right here, under physics, ocean. So you can see this immediately sizes our plane up really big. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn down the size, but we're also going to change the resolution. So it's just a little bit higher of a resolution. There we go. Your resolution in your viewport you can always turn down if Blender is slowing down for some reason. But you can also change the settings over through here. I want a relatively calm ocean, so I'm just gonna try to find a relatively calm ocean. Maybe something like that. Change the size up a little bit to 0.65 and then just scale it down. And then once we scale it down, we can just scale it to match our plane, bring it down until we have something that kind of looks like that. So once we have that, what we can do is we can go in to our ground plane again and just kind of sculpt to where the water is. So I'm gonna I'm gonna Shift S and then just kind of smooth this out a little bit, like that. Smooth that out, and then I'm going to adjust the plane's position right here. And so now we have this kind of beach-looking thing going on right here. So now for our water shader. So when you download the water shader, it's going to be in a zip file, and then just go into the zip file. You'll find a .blend file. Extract that .blend file somewhere. I don't know if I have it open still. I do. So it'll just be water.blend in there. Extract it to somewhere, and once you have it extracted somewhere, just go up here to the top left where it says File, and then go to Append. Go to wherever you saved that water blend file, open it, and go to Material, and then Water, and then just double click, and now the water shader is in Blender. So we're going to go ahead and select our water shader, or a water object. Go down to our Materials tab, which is a little checkered circle down at the bottom on the right. Click it, and then just click this little ball icon right next to the new icon, and then we should see water. So just go ahead and click this. And it'll load our water shader in. So now, once we have our water shader in, we basically don't really need to do anything. But we're going to go up to the very top where this little camera icon is and switch our render engine over to cycles. So by default, if you don't have it set, your device is going to be set to CPU. Go ahead and set that to GPU. If this is grayed out, then go up here to the top left where it says Edit, and then Preferences, and then System, and then just enable whatever graphics card you have if it's supported. So now we have this. We have our ground object, and we have our water object. So for the ground object, if you zoom in really closely, you might be able to see, we can see individual faces on this. Now, that's not good. It doesn't really look right. So to fix that, it's as easy as right-clicking and then clicking Shade Smooth, and you can see instantly all that goes away. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and try to set up a basic camera angle. I'm thinking something maybe like this. Something maybe like that. And then we can hit Control Alt and 0 to position our camera there. I'm going to go ahead and take our camera, hit G while it's selected, hold my middle mouse click, my scroll wheel, and just bring it back. Just drag my mouse back to something maybe like that. So there we go. So that's our basic camera angle. That's probably going to be changed later on, but that's just what we're going to do for now. So now here comes the steps where if you have a texture or you have Quicksilver Bridge, this is where we're going to be texturing our sand right here and getting our assets. So I'm just going to go ahead and open Bridge right here. While we're waiting for that to load. Yeah, while we wait for Bridge to load, I just want to point out that this is more of a composition-based tutorial rather than a full like modeling or creating everything from scratch type of tutorial. It's just kind of how to make something look good, if that makes sense. So Bridge is now open. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to search sand, and I'm going to go to surfaces. And I already have one that I like that I want to use, and it is windswept sand. It's this. So I've already got this downloaded, but if you're using Bridge, all your download settings should be fine. Just make sure your export settings are in Blender and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and export this. And it says it's exported successfully. So we should be able to go back into Blender, click our ground object, go down to Materials, and we should be, windswept sand right here. So if you're using Quixel anything really, textures or assets, one thing I've noticed is the textures, the normal map is connected to the alpha node in the principal BSDF, which will make your material transparent. So you have to go through and change all those. So with me, I've already applied my material, but if you have a texture separately or you downloaded your texture from someone else, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go up here to the top left, right under the Blender logo when your cursor turns into this little cross, click and then drag over, and then go down right under the Blender logo once again, where this little ball and grid is, click it, and then just go down to Shader Editor. So you can see here I already have all these nodes. You won't have these nodes. So how do you get these nodes? How do you set up this texture? So the first thing you'll want to do is go over here to Edit, and then Preferences, Add-ons, and then just type in Node, and then enable Node Wrangler. Node Wrangler makes working with nodes a lot easier, makes texturing a lot faster. So once you have that, I'm just going to do this for example reasons. I'm going to duplicate my principal BSDF. Let's pretend this is your shader editor. This is your shader editor. You click on your principal BSDF and hit Control, Shift, and then T. It'll bring you to a file editor. You would go to wherever all your textures are, shift-click all your textures, and then click Principal Texture Setup. It'll bring them all in as long as they're named correctly and everything, and we'll have this. But as we can see right here, this normal node is connected to the alpha, which needs to be changed to the normal. So right now, if we go into our rendered view and we look at our sand, we can see that it's very stretched out. So why is it stretched out? Well, that's because of UVs. So how do we fix these UVs? So we hit Tab on our keyboard, go over here to where you have your shader editor open, click the little drop down, and then go to UV editor. So once we're in UV editor, we'll be able to see that most of these little things right here, all the faces, they're rectangles. They're supposed to be squares. So if we just hit A over here in this window and then just scale it all the way to where it's about a square. Yeah, these look about square. And we go down here. That should clean up our UVs. Aha, this is where the problem is. So, in my shader, my texture coordinate node, it's on generated and not UV. So if we switch that to UV right here, we can see that now our UVs match up to what they're supposed to be. So, now that we have this, we have our sand and we have our beach, or we have our sand and we have our water. What else do we need? I'm actually going to kind of go for a lower camera angle. Maybe something like this. Just get our camera, go to the little camera icon down here, change the focal length until we have something that we like. I'm just going to go with something like this for now. Maybe that'll work. So now, the fun part, the actual art part, set dressing your scene. So, beaches. What do you need to set dress in for composition for a beach? Beaches have lots of rocks, lots and lots and lots of rocks. They have little twigs. They have little ground plants sometimes. Just beachy stuff. So get all the beachy stuff that you can get and just basically put them on here. Mine is basically going to consist of a bunch of rocky cliffs, a bunch of rocks, little twigs, different stuff like that. So I'm not going to sit here and just completely waste a bunch of time just set dressing the scene. I'm going to put it in a time lapse. There's really nothing you really need to know except for just put things where they look good. Put things where they look right. Put things where you think they should go. When I get back, I'll explain some stuff. If I did something specific that I want you guys to understand why I did something, then I'll come back with that. But for now, time lapse time. Okay, so now that we have our basic big composition blocked out, we're going to move on to the smaller stuff. So you can see what I did here. Basically, when you're making a scene, when you're making any kind of big open scene like this, you always want to focus on the camera angle. You always want to focus on what the camera sees, because what the camera sees is what's going to matter. You don't want to put a bunch of extra detail and things that the camera's not going to see, because it's not going to matter. Yeah, it might look pretty if you're moving around the scene, but if you're making the scene just for as a still, then only focus on the camera angles. So you see what I did for composition here. I have this rock right here pretty close to the camera. I liked the idea of having big stuff close to the camera. So you see this rock is right here. You see a little bit of water outside of it. I'm going to cover all this in the background up. But I like the way that it comes in from the side. You can also still see from the back of it, so you can see the stuff going on from it. I also put these rock masses over on the beach right here, just to kind of cover up the harsh change between the water and the sand. I put a bunch of these cliffs over here, just to give the scene just some depth, some size, just to kind of show that these things are pretty massive. I also like the way this rock pile is right here. It kind of looks like it's leading up to something over there. And then I try to create right here. You can see right here it doesn't really look like anything, but if we go to the camera, that kind of looks like a little valley that the water is going to extend on into. So that's what I have right now. And we're going to start decorating with the smaller stuff like little grass, plants, little rocks, just stuff like that. So another time lapse. Okay, so now for particles, which we're going to use for like the grass and the plants and stuff. So to create a particle system, basically just get all your models that you want to create in a particle system. Have them all selected by shift-clicking all of them. Hit Control-G, go down here to this little tab, and then just name it to whatever you want. I'm going to name mine grass. And then we're going to go, excuse me, we're going to go back to our plane. We're going to go up here to where it says Object Mode at the top left. Click it, and then go to Weight Paint. And then under Weight Paint, you can basically just start painting where you want your grass to grow. So I highly recommend doing this in camera view just so you can see where the grass is going to be. I'm just going to put mine just around the rocks and stuff, really. Then some over here. Maybe right here, maybe right here. Maybe right here. And then once we have that, we can go back into object mode. Go down here. Go down here to the little ball with the little 3 balls coming off of it over on the right. Click it. Add a particle system by clicking the plus icon. Change it to hair. Go down to render. Render as. Change it to collection. And then down here in instance collection, just choose your grass. So now to actually get it where we paint it in the weight paint mode, go down to where it says vertex groups way down here. And under density, you should have a group made. And so that gives us all of our stuff we need right here. So I'm going to go ahead and change the scale down like that. And I'm going to change the number of particles to maybe 400. That might work. I'm going to change the scale randomness up to... then I also have to make sure that this is connected to that. And so now if we look at the scene, there's no lighting yet, so it's going to look pretty bad right now, but we're going to get our lighting set up here in a minute. That's actually the next thing I'm going to move on to do after this, is our lighting. So I am using Cycles X, which means it's going to be a little bit faster. It's still pretty slow because it is a lot of high quality textures and high quality models and stuff. So it does still take a little bit, but my final render is going to be really fast from what I saw in my last video. So I'm going to wait for this to update, and it should render sometime. Okay, so you can see this is what it looks like right now with our current lighting setup. It doesn't look very good right now with our current lighting setup, but we're going to have that fixed in just a second. So, if Blender would respond. So, what we're going to do first of all is we're going to go into our web browser, type in hdrihaven.org, or is it .com? It might be .com. hdrihaven. And then we're just going to browse for some HDRI. So I'm going to go to outdoor, see if I can find a gloomy beach anywhere. This might do. So just download it. I'm going to download 2K. And then we go into our world settings, which is the little globe. Under color, under surface, just click environment texture and then open up wherever you saved your HDRI to. Mine was started with a K. So I'm going to go all the way down. This one right here. So now if we view it in rendered, we should have a little bit better of a lighting situation going on. Now I don't know the lighting of this scene that I'm going to use. We're going to be figuring that out together. But whatever works in your scene, whatever looks good in your scene, just go with that. Lighting is always subjective. There is a way to do it wrong though, and there is a way to do it right. But for the most part, lighting is pretty subjective. Okay, so we can see almost immediately that's a lot better. I still don't like it though. I'm going to remove this light right here just to see how that looks. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Excuse me. What I'm going to go ahead and do though is I'm going to add a sunlight to the scene. And kind of have it pointed this way. I'm going to change the strength to about 5. And we're going to see how this looks. Okay, so right now it's way too intense, so we're going to turn it down, maybe back to 1. I'm also going to change the color to a little bit of a warmer kind of glow. I wonder if I can use a sky texture for this. maybe something 0.15. Okay, and so now we have this. This is a little bit of an overcast kind of thing going on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that lighting or not. We'll see here in a second. But what I'm going to do now is going to add a volume cube by just Shift A, mesh cube, and then just make sure this cube has your whole scene in it. So I'm just going to scale it up really big. We're going to go to our materials, new, under surface, just disconnect it. And under volume, do a principal volume. I'm going to start off with a 0.02. See how that looks. I also need to, in our camera settings, just on clip end, clip start and clip end, just type in an absurdly large number for clip end. Do the same thing up here for your view in your viewport 2. That way we just don't have any of that weird stuff you saw with the cube anymore. Oh yeah, I forgot. Cycles X doesn't do volume. I'm gonna have to take this into actual Blender. But everything should be fine besides that. I just have to switch versions. Okay, swap Blender versions, swapped HDRIs. So basically I swapped the HDRI out for this one. It's called Lakeside. Basically I just think it matches the scene a lot more. I'm gonna have to change the rotation of it. But the way I'm gonna change the rotation of it, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go up here in our shader editor. Instead of object, just click world. I'm going to add a texture coordinate node and a mapping node. So the texture coordinate, just put generated into the vector of all these, and then put the vector into the lake side of the HDRI. And so now what we can do is under rotation, we can change the Z rotation to something like 45. Maybe not 45, maybe 25. I'm just trying to get like a bare background, really. Yeah, something like that. Maybe no, because now the lighting's messed up. I'm just still go with. Let's just keep it at 0 for now. And then I'm going to up the sunlight to like 5. I might swap the sand texture, actually. There's something that just doesn't look right about that sand texture. So I'm going to swap my sand textures for something kind of warmer. Maybe this will work. The sand just looks way too bright. Alright. So it should be this one. And then I have to change this to be normal. Alright. Okay, that's instantly looking a lot better. So there's still some details I need to fill out and stuff. But it is looking a lot better than it was. Let me go ahead and see if I can change the sun strength to maybe something like 10. Maybe. Might be the volume, actually. I really don't know what it is. Oh. Alright, so something like that. That's looking a lot better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill out the scene some more. And then once I do that, it'll be a lot better. So I'm just going to get a bunch of rocks, tiny rocks, and just kind of put them in the scene in places. So I'm just going to go down. I'm going to get that one. That one looks cool. Go ahead and export that. I rotate this around. Then I'm actually going to go into edit mode, grab a vertice, turn proportional editing up here on the top, this little target looking thing, and then just drag some of this up like that. So that should be looking good right there. Maybe some more. Maybe this texture will fit what I'm trying to go for here, because I'm not trying to go for a really happy, upbeat beach. I'm kind of going for like a moody, like post-rain kind of beach. I'm sorry if this tutorial is really dragged out. I'm kind of just going with this as I go for it. It's kind of like a process. So, quick update, guys. I found out. I might have found out what is wrong. Basically, I think my ground is too dry. Yeah. So basically, I need this ground to be wetter. So what I'm actually gonna do, a surprise element of this tutorial is Quicksilver Mixer. Quicksilver Mixer, basically you can mix different textures together and make a new texture. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into Quicksilver Mixer, throw in this texture. I'll leave this material in the link in a link in the description. You guys can download it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign in with my Epic Games, and then I will make this texture, and I will be right back. Okay, we're finally back. After a little bit of changing some things, doing some other things, I finally got something to look right. This is going to look a lot better with post-processing, but I did change the camera angle. You might be able to tell a little bit that I changed the camera angle. I also changed these plants out for some actual regular grass, and this is the texture that I made in Mixer. So this will be in the link below. You can download it for free. You can just download it, use it. But yeah, I think it makes it suits it a lot better with the rockiness and stuff. But with that, with this new camera angle, I'm gonna go ahead and move this whole thing this way, and then use proportional editing to grab some right here and put it right there, and then maybe bring it down just a little bit. And now we have that. What I want to do is I want to scale this up a little bit, bring it up just so we don't have that kind of thing going on over there. What I also wanted to do is kind of add a lighthouse up here somewhere. So I'm going to try to see if I can find a lighthouse model online by just searching lighthouse 3D model free, and then just trying to find a lighthouse model. I can look on CG Trader, look on Sketchfab, look on Free 3D. I'm just gonna look through these models and see which ones I like, and see if I can find one, and I'll be right back. So I found this model I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna download it off of Turbo Squid. Just find. I'm going to use OBJ. I'm going to download the textures. This textures folder, I'm just going to extract somewhere random because I have 1,000 textures folders on my computer. desktop data. Cool. And then I'm going to open the Lighthouse. Just extract this to my main drive. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. File, import, obj, and find my main drive. What was the file name called? Maybe Lighthouse. So there it is. I'm just going to go ahead and import it and wait a little bit for Blender's obj importer to like me. And now we have the Lighthouse in our scene. So I didn't need to be a very exquisite lighthouse, just something. I'm going to go ahead and shade that smooth. Just to kind of put over here somewhere, maybe. Like that. And then we're going to have to texture all this. I'm only going to texture the main parts like this. Desktop, data, textures. I guess Lighthouse 1. Then all this can just be a new material with metallic. I'm going to texture this very, very, very lazily. And copy material to selected. And we'll see if anybody will notice that. Alright, that should be good enough for a lighthouse. So I'm going to have that. And I'm going to have this casting a light. I'm just going to put a point light in it. Just to give it the actual light effect. And just rotate this around. That. Then our lights. Every single piece in this is a separate 3D object. Okay, whatever. We're going to make our lights about 50. Bring it out here. And I say that's pretty much done. I think I'm happy with it, how it is right now. I'm going to throw it in a Photoshop after this and put some post-processing effects on it. you can do that in whatever program you want to. It's very easy. I've made compositing tutorials before, and this tutorial has already gone long for an insanely long time, so I don't want to drag it out. But I'm going to wait for this to render, and hopefully it looks good. So I'm going to wait for it to render, put it into Photoshop and stuff, and then I'll be back one more time. Okay, I am back. So this is the final render. This is it after post-processing and everything. This was the original render. It looks pretty bland, but I've kind of spiced it up in Photoshop. Quick thing. I forgot to mention completely what I did with the lighting. So basically the lighting, I have this sphere right here with an emission shader, and it's casting light through here. I have my HDR at a very low strength, and I have my sun lamp also at a 0 actually. I'm not using the sun lamp. And then I have the lighthouse with the main light casting light down through here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much just this light in the HDR and what little light gives off by the HDRI, and then I've lightened it up in Photoshop and stuff and added some effects. But yeah, for the most part, that's all I did. This is the final render. So hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial, or at least just watch me make this. But thanks guys so much for watching. My name is Michael from Polygon Island, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.